Chapter 7. Introduction to HTML5 and CSS3. HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, where hypertext defines the link between web pages, and a markup language is used to define the text document with the tags, which defines the structure of web pages. HTML was created by Tim Berners-Lee. It is used to design web pages. Features of HTML5. It provides a flexible way to design web pages. It is not case-sensitive language. It is a very easy to understand and simple language. It is platform-independent language. It provides easy way to insert images, videos, and audio to a web page. Tools for HTML5. Basic tools for HTML5 are an editor and a web browser. Let's learn about them in detail. Editor. An editor is required to write HTML codes and save it for further use. It can be of two types: text editor and WYSIWYG editor. Examples of text editors are Notepad and WordPad. WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. It is a web editor. In this case, you don't require knowledge of HTML. Examples of web editors are Armia, Adobe Dreamweaver, etc. Web browser. A web browser is required to view an HTML document as a web page. Examples of web browsers are Google Chrome, Opera, Mozilla Firefox, Microsoft Edge, etc. Google, Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Opera. HTML tags, elements and attributes. The basic building blocks of HTML codes are tags, elements and attributes. Tags. An HTML tag is a piece of markup language used to define how the information on the web page is formatted or displayed. Tags indicate the beginning and end of an HTML element. In an HTML document, a tag is always written within the angular brackets. A tag always starts with an opening tag and ends with a closing tag with sign of slash. For example, less than body greater than. It is an opening tag. Less than slash body greater than. It is a closing tag. Tag can be of two types: empty tag and container tag. Container tag. A container tag is made up of the opening tag, content, and closing tag. Container tags are always used with some content. For example, less than p greater than ... less than slash p greater than here less than p greater than is the opening tag. Less than slash p greater than is the closing tag. Empty tag. An empty tag is made up of the only opening tag. These tags don't have closing tags. You can insert empty tags inside the container tags. For example, less than br greater than. Elements. An element consists of everything starting from the opening to the closing tag. For example, less than u greater than ... less than slash u greater than. Attributes. An attribute defines extra properties of HTML tags. Generally, it consists of two parts: name and value. The name refers to the property that you want to set, and the value refers to what you want for the respective name. Basic rules to write HTML codes. Container tags should always open and close properly within the angular brackets. Any attribute values entered should be enclosed in double quotes. The tag name shouldn't contain any spaces. Create an HTML5 document. To create an HTML document, open Notepad and type the given codes. less than exclamation mark doc type HTML greater than declaration. In HTML5, the doctype declaration is required. It specifies that the document is written in HTML5, less than HTML greater than tag. The less than HTML greater tag informs the web browser that the text between the less than HTML greater than and less than /HTML greater than tags is a web page and can be viewed in a web browser. Less than head greater than tag. The header portion of the document is represented by the less than head greater than tag. The title, scripts, and style definitions used in the document are all listed here. Less than title greater than tag. The document's title is represented by the less than title greater than tag, which is placed inside the less than head greater than tag tag. The title can be seen in the browser window's title bar. You can omit it if you don't want to give your website a title. Less than body greater than tag. The portion of an HTML document that is visible in a web browser is designated by the less than body greater than tag. It includes all other tags that describe the content presentation elements, including text, links to other web pages, lists, tables, and images. Save an HTML document. To save an HTML document, click on the File menu, select Save as option. Type a name for the web page with extension .html or .htm to save a document. Click on the Save button. View a web page. To view a web page in the browser, find the saved file and double-click on it. Heading tags. These are used to add the different levels of heading on a web page. These are 6 types of HN tags from H1 to H6, where H1 defines the largest heading and H6 defines the smallest heading in terms of the size. Write HTML codes to use heading tags. Output. Paragraph tag. The less than p greater than tag is used to define a paragraph in the HTML document. It is a container tag, so it is always starts with the less than p greater than tag and ends with the less than /p greater than tag. The browser automatically leaves a space between two paragraphs. Output. Line break tag. The less than br greater than tag is an empty tag. It used to add a line break in an HTML document. Output. Horizontal rule tag. The less than hr greater than tag is used to create a horizontal line that separates the web page into various sections. Output. CSS3. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets and CSS3 is the latest version of CSS. It is a style sheet language used to define the appearance of a web page. It is used with a markup language, like HTML. In other words, it is responsible for taking care of things like colors, font, attributes, text alignments, background graphics, tables, and more. Syntax. Selector, property, value, value. Whereas, selector is a tag to which the style is to be applied. Property is a style or an attribute which will be applied on the selector tag. Value tells CSS to how you want that element to change. Methods of applying CSS3. CSS3 can be applied in three ways: external CSS, internal CSS, and inline CSS. External CSS. When you want to apply style to web page or websites, use external CSS. It is a separate file and can be written in any text editor. It is saved with .css as the extension. Internal CSS. When you want to apply style to single web pages, use internal CSS. It is described using the less than style greater than less than slash style greater than tag in the HTML pages head section. Inline CSS. When you want to apply unique style to a single element, use inline CSS. It is described using the style attribute to the required element. Use of CSS3 with HTML5. To use CSS3 with HTML5, open text editor and write the given code. Output. In summary, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Basic tools for HTML5 are an editor and a web browser. An editor is required to write HTML codes and save it for further use. A web browser is required to view an HTML document as a web page. An HTML tag used to define how the information on the web page is formatted or displayed. An element consists of everything starting from the opening to the closing tag. An attribute defines extra properties of HTML tags. Generally, it consists of two parts: name and value. CSS3 is a style sheet language used to define the appearance of a web page. CSS3 can be applied in three ways: external CSS, internal CSS, and inline CSS.